to our viewers and listening audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good afternoon and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your creator and host, David Rodgers. Joining me very soon will be the Byron Bagwell, right along with our producer and our director, the man they call the Dancing Destroyer. He's Super Dave Holland. He's with us tonight. In the studio also tonight, going to be talking about some weather, is going to be Austin Stevens. We got a little something going on in the tropics there that he'll get to, and he'll tell us all about this beautiful weather that we're having. Again, welcome into On the Spot with David Rodgers. We haven't been on air for about 3 weeks now, so I want to give you just a little synopsis of what happened. So about 3 weeks ago, I got Bell's palsy, so I couldn't do the show. I was stuttering, Dave. You know, I talked to you, slurring my words. My face was all caved in. So got some steroids. First of all, went to the VA. They tested me for a stroke and a tumor or anything like that could cause that. Everything is good to go. That all checked out good. They gave me some steroids and some viral medicine, Dave, and it cleared it up within about 2 weeks or so. And then last week, I had a back issue, so I'm just breaking down every which way but loose. But now I'm back. A little more healthier than what I was, so just glad to be back on air with you guys. I really miss doing the show. Dave has, so is Byron, so is Austin. And again, just glad to be back. Tonight's a very important night, as you know, it's election night 2024. Got a lot of news, a lot of things to go over. We're going to try to give you the results as best as we can. And you're going to be watching your TV as well, so anything that you can give us to would help as well. So, again, we're going to go ahead and kick off the show as we always do with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the night. Again, Mr. Byron Bagwell will be here in about 15 or 20 minutes, so we're going to get into this thing with the presidency and also the local elections. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Dave, a lot of people's been asking me about tornado football. You couldn't believe how many questions. Is the Tornadoes in the playoffs? They're not playing. I'll get into all that. We'll talk other sports as well. The first college football playoff happens tonight too, the 12-team playoff. The rankings will come out. We'll try to get that. I think it comes out right about 7 o'clock. So 7:30, so we'll go ahead and announce that too as well. So for the next week's out, Dave, that's the poll that will determine the 12 teams that will be in the playoffs.
Wow.
I can tell you one thing, I know who's not going to be in. Unfortunately for the Gators, they're not going to be in, but my nose ain't going to be in either. They won one lousy, stupid game all year. I don't get it. All that talent, all that coaching, everything. And we cannot seem to win a ball game. But we'll get into that, Dave. I don't get it. I don't get it. You've watched them. I don't get it.
One game?
That's it. We won one game, and it was a conference game against California, and barely won that 14-9. And everything else has been blowouts, the opposite way. And we was preseason, David, ranked top 10. We were supposed to be in this talk about this whole thing, and it's just been a debacle and a train wreck. Now, for the Gators, let me give them credit where credit's due. They got the toughest schedule in the country. And we're, like I said, we're getting into more about this. They got the toughest schedule in the country. Look, they should have beat Tennessee several weeks ago. They've had Georgia on the ropes until DJ Lagway got hurt, or they could have easily won that game. And they're sitting at 4-4. At least they won 4 games, Dave. So, hey, look, at the end of the day, they're not playing bad ball. The problem is guess what? They've got Texas, LSU, and Ole Miss coming up. That is a gauntlet. Now, they'll probably beat Florida State, so they'll probably get another win there. But the rest of it, Dave, looks pretty rough. So, anyway, glad that you can join us. I did my due diligence today. I'm a traditionalist. I voted today. So, I would have voted early, but I'm just old school guy, man. I've got to vote on election day. So I was supposed to meet you for dinner, and I wasn't able to do that because when I pulled up to the Lawdy precinct, there was 30 deep.
Wow.
30 deep. Yeah. It took me 30 minutes to get in there to vote and everything else. So the line was moving, though, I got to say. But I thought, man, I could just go in there and be done with it like I usually do. No, sir.
That's crazy because there's probably only 30 people that live in Lodi.
Including the cows and the pigs. Including the cows and the pigs. But anyway, you're right, Dave. But, this is a very, very important election. Like I said, we're going to get into this all night. Probably, I was born in 1962. And I know you were born a little bit before me. So you've seen presidents, you voted presidents for presidents. And to me, David, this election right here, 2024's election, is probably the most important and most crucial election since I've been alive. I don't know if can you say the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah. The only other one that I can think of was the Reagan deal, when, Jimmy Carter, God rest his soul now, but, he just wasn't making things happen, and there needed to be some change in the country back in 1980, and President Reagan was the person and the president to do that, and he did. For a good solid 8 years, this country was thriving. There was really no wars going on, just like when Trump did back in 2016. So, it's just a critical and pivotal time in the country today, and we need everybody to go vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I would recommend for you to vote for, but it's your right and your privilege. That's why this country is the freest and most powerful country in the world today, because you're allowed to go vote. At the age of 18, you can make the decision about what happens in your country. Now, I will give you, again, me and Byron, and you probably, and maybe Austin, will give you our opinion on who we think we should vote for or you should vote for. But that doesn't mean, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I hope you make the right decision for you and your family, because, the national election really, as far as implications, David, to you directly, there is none directly. Because, your local government is what you need to be focused on. But the national government, and whoever the president of the United States is, that's the person that everybody sees in the world. That is, when you say the president of the United States, everybody listens. Remember that old commercial, E.F. Hutton? Hey, when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody listens. Yeah. That's the way the presidency is, or should be, here when you talk about world leaders and world politics. But everything that happens at the national level, David, filters down to the state level and to your local area. So again, one of the things we'll talk about tonight is the economy. The economy affects everything. The economy not only affects at the national level, David, but it affects it at the state level and your local level.
Yep.
You talk about, everybody's talking about, the main thing I hear is grocery prices. How groceries are so expensive and how things have gone. The inflation of this country has just elevated. And right now, again, in my opinion, this administration hasn't done anything to fix it. And the person that's running against President Trump and Vice President Harris, if we want to call her that, she's been in office for 4 years now, almost 4 years. And she's preaching about how she's going to fix these things. And guess what? I haven't seen anything in the direction of fixing it. Do you follow me? Do you agree with that? Y'all agree with that? That's my thing there. If you're saying that you're gonna do this, and this, and following the lead of some of the things that President Trump has said and has done, and back in 2016 has done, why haven't you done it now? Now, I understand she was second in charge, but you can put your input in here. You know what I mean? Put input to the presidency, to the House, to the Senate, to get these things fixed. And on top of that, she was in charge of the border. She is in charge of the border. And look where the border crisis is right now. It is in shambles. Everybody's coming through here left and right. You don't even know where half these people are really at. These bigger cities are crime-ridden. Gangs are taking over people's housing, where they work and at schools and football games. I seen a little video the other day on Facebook. I don't know where it was at. How about this one for you? 25 young gang members walked right into a football game wearing their garb and just didn't say nothing now. They were, I'll give it to them, they were sort of respectful, if you want to call it that, but they was making their presence known. They was throwing up the gang signs and all that. Why are we allowing this? What is going on here in this country today? The rhetoric in this country is just went down the tubes, and we got to have somebody that's got the cojones to fix this thing. And to me, it's President Trump.
It's all obvious that they wasn't there to watch the game.
Oh, obviously not. No, sir. You could
They
just
should have been escorted.
yeah, and that's they should have been escorted out. But see, here's the problem. You know when you know how much police presence is at a football game. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, you could have called in for backup and stuff like that to remove these guys, but yeah, honestly, they wasn't doing. They wasn't doing anything per se illegal. You know what I mean? But it's just the presence. How do you think those people in that football game felt? They don't know what's going on.
Well, you got to think about that. I would think if you're in charge of security at an event,
Yeah.
personally, that's how I see it.
Well, that's the way I see it too. But these things are being let go, and we're not doing anything about it. So when
Until the worst happens.
right, until something at the football game does happen, and you're exactly right. So. Again, welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. Wait for Mr. Bagwell to get here. We're going to have some election results, like I said, as much as we can get them. Of course, the East Coast. Of course, the East Coast will, will be the first ones to come in, Dave. Then you go to Central Time. They're an hour behind us. So what time is it actually? It's 7 o'clock right now, right?
Yes.
So it's 6 o'clock Central. Then it'll go to Mountain Time, and then it'll go Western Time. So the results of this election probably will not really be in fully until around midnight, 1 o'clock, even if it's done then, because we'll see how much shenanigans is going to happen this time. I'm not hearing a lot about what's going on as far as that goes. I haven't really heard anything as far as anybody trying to sway votes or trying to maybe a few things here and there, but not like the last election. So we'll see what happens. Billy Rayburn says it's going to be a landslide. Trump all the way. Like hamburger meat, $3 a pound to $7 a pound. Absolutely, fully agree. Eddie Sigmund, Eddie? You know where he's watching from? The Caribbean. How about that? Shirley's saying pray hard. Oh, let me see here what we got here. Oh, live chat. Where are we at here? Oh, my goodness. Did I lose that, Dave? No way. There's no way I could have lost that. Let me see. Live chat. All right. Jimmy Bauer says Trump. Replies. Here we go. Let me take a look. Dave, I lost all my gum things. So, anyway, welcome into the show. Let me see, Dave, if I can get what happened to my comments, David? Did I just lose them all here? Anyway, let's start off as we always do with our prayer and our pledge and our patriotic quote of the night. Bow your heads, ladies and gentlemen. If you're at your house, please take your hat off and let us go into prayer. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time again that you've allowed me and my host, Mr. Bagwell, Mr. Byron Bagwell, and Dave Holland and Austin to be here, to be able to do another show. Thank you for restoring my health back to me, dear Lord, and that you keep my health again on the up and up, dear Lord, as we're trying to just live everyday life and do the things that we need to do, and also to have this show. Thank you for the greatest country in the world today, dear Lord. I know we've got our own issues and our own problems here in the United States of America, but tonight could be the start in the telltale sign of maybe this country being great again, being powerful again, dear Lord. So God, each and every one of the voters that are going to the polls tonight, dear Lord, and that you put it in their hearts, dear Lord, that they vote for the person that they think will do the best job for our country, dear Lord, our great nation. And it all filters down, dear Lord. It may not impact us directly, but it does impact us indirectly. And everything that happens at the national level does filter down, dear Lord. So just put it in their hearts, dear Lord, that they go and vote the right way. Thank you for our armed services, each and every one of those men and women that are out there serving each and every day, whether they're serving abroad, dear Lord, overseas, or they're serving domestically, dear Lord. Just keep a hedge of protection over them. Keep them safe. Keep them out of harm's way, and let them come back home safely to their families, dear Lord. Thank you for our first responders, each and every one of those men and women that go out each and every day to protect us, to keep us safe, so we can go home at night and lay our head down in our very own bed, in our very own house, and knowing that we're going to be safe from anybody that wants to harm us, dear Lord. Thank you for the everyday common worker, dear Lord. Anybody that just the railroad workers, truck drivers, anybody that farmers, anybody that makes America thrive, dear Lord, that you keep them safe and that you keep them working each and every day. Thank you for the food that we receive each and every day, that it goes into nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Any spoken or unspoken prayer requests, dear Lord, that you touch each and every one of those people, dear Lord. You know what's on their mind and on their hearts, dear Lord. Please comfort them as you always do. Again, thank you for this time. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for the beautiful week that we've got upcoming, dear Lord. And we ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation says, Amen. Here's Byron Bagwell. Didn't even hear him come in. I thought I heard him stop over there, but he just came on in. You wanted to catch the end of that prayer, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I'm glad that he's here. Got a lot to talk about. I hope you got a quote tonight.
Sure.
I want to get this thing rolling because we have a lot to talk about. This presidential election, everything that's going on, not locally, state, nationally. Also, I've been getting asked many questions about tornado football. I had 10 of them last night. Is the Tornadoes in the playoffs? We're going to get to all that. We're going to get to some CFP rankings too as well on top of this election that's going on. So let us stand for our pledge. If y'all don't mind, let's do that. And Byron, I'm going to ask you tonight, brother, since we haven't done it in a while, if you'll lead us.
Sure.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. All right, all right. I don't know what happened to my comments, B, but you got some there. I think I just, I don't know what the heck I did. Maybe I just need to get back out of it and go back in it. How about that? There we go. Here we go. Yeah, that was it. That's what I needed to do right here. So, well, look at there. And then I'll lose it again. What in the heck is going on, B? Anyway, do you have a I don't know either. Do you have a patriotic quote of the night?
It is hard to free fools from the chains that they revere.
Say it again.
It is hard to free fools from the chains that they revere. Got another one, too.
Okay. Is there a founding father?
No, it is
It
not
is
a
not.
founding father.
Okay. Okay.
Author, philosopher. Old.
Aristotle.
Nope. Not that old.
Not that old. Okay. Samuel Langhorne.
Nope.
Not Mark Twain?
Not Mark Twain.
Okay.
European.
European.
Could you read that again?
It is hard to free fools from the chains that they revere.
I don't think it's Winston Churchill.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, is it Winston Churchill?
No.
No.
It's Voltaire.
Okay. Voltaire. Okay. Cool. What else you got?
Let me see. However much you deny the truth goes on existing. Wrote a very, very famous book.
Wrote a very, very famous book.
I don't want to give that one too much because people will figure this one out. However much you deny the truth will go on existing.
Famous book.
Famous book. The book title is actually a year.
Oh. Okay. 1984?
That gives the answer away.
Sure does. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe somebody will grab it. Maybe somebody will give it.
It is George Orwell.
Yeah.
It is George Orwell.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, okay. Well, hey, I was hoping somebody else would say it, so
It's okay.
that's all right. Good. Anyway, welcome down on the spot with David Rodgers, creator and host David Rodgers, co-host, the main host too, Mr. Byron Bagwell, also color commentator for the Bradford Tornadoes. Say hello, Byron. It's been 3 weeks.
Hello, Byron. It's been 3 weeks.
Yes, it has. Austin Stevens in the back there.
I miss it. I miss everybody. I miss doing this show, and it just never seemed like I could get off when y'all were doing the show, and then we wouldn't do a show, and then I would get off one time.
Well,
so that's what's been going on.
Yeah, and as I explained to everybody, I don't know if you was listening in, but as I was explaining to everybody, I was telling them, I had Bell's palsy there for, almost 2.5 weeks. Then I had that back issue and stuff. And the times, like you said, that you could be here, then something was happening to me. Times you couldn't be here, I'm okay to go. So Dave has been the only one, I think, that's really been on even keel lately, and I'm glad of that. So, because I know there for a while you was fighting some health issues too, and now you seem to be right. You should be right ready to go.
I hide it well.
Okay, well maybe that's it. So,
Well, I do want to make one comment, Billy Rayburn. Please do not count your chickens before they hatch with this.
yeah, and that's
Please don't do that. We watched this happen, like what you're talking about 4 years ago, and it did not happen. Please do not count your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And I was going to make that comment, but I was going to wait to make it, and that's what I think you heard. Look, I want to speak. We're going to go over a lot of this, and I'm going to let you get into the political aspect of this. I want to speak on layman terms for just a minute.
Sure.
And just being straight up. I want to take political view out of this for a minute. And I know it's hard to do because there's an election night going on. But I want to take that rhetoric out of it for a minute, okay? Just as an American citizen, as me, you, Dave, Austin, Cheryl, everybody that watches this show is. And if you live in this country, which you do, if you live in your state, which you do, if you live in your community, which you do, if you work in this great nation, as you do, the last 4 years, 3.5, it ain't quite 4 yet, 3.5 years, you've seen the debacle of many things. And I was talking to a lot of people today, Byron, at work, and the main thing, there's two main issues, and I'll go over some of those because I printed some of those out, what this administration has done. But just take the politicalness out of it. 4 years ago, David, when you went to the grocery store and you bought a carton of eggs, do you remember what you paid for them?
About $3.50.
And actually, it's a little less than that. I think it was $1.69 a dozen.
There was a dozen.
Yeah, a dozen eggs, $1.69.
Eggs.
Yeah, white eggs, regular white
The
eggs.
cheapest one you can buy, yeah.
So, do you know what it is now, Byron?
$5.
$5 a carton
For the cheap eggs?
for eggs. Period.
Eggs, period.
Eggs. Period.
Well,
Go to
yeah.
Walmart and check it out.
You got brown eggs, and then you got white eggs,
So
and
just
the white card.
just plain white eggs.
Regular size.
Regular size, large,
Just
large.
$5, yeah.
$5.
$5. It was $1.69 4 years ago.
Here's what David is trying to say is
Go ahead.
he's taking everything politically out of it, and that's really the way people need to look at this election, because it's not just eggs. It's
That was just a scenario. You know what I mean? That's just an example. I mean, we could name many things.
he's what he's trying to say is what a bunch of people have been saying. Is your life better, or is it worse than it was 4 years ago? Honestly, take everything personal out of it. Financially, if you look at what has gone on in the last 4 years,
No, you're exactly. You're hitting it right on the head. two candidates that are running tonight. And again, I'm trying to take politicalness out of it, but take the two people that are running tonight. I don't care which one is a Republican or which one is a Democrat. One of them is currently holding a position right now of office, the second highest position of office in this country. The other one ran this country from 2016 to 2020. We know that particular person, we know what he did. The writing is on the wall. We know it was better off then. Look, unemployment was down. Many jobs. Gas prices were down. Inflation was down. We were starting to work on the national deficit. That Trump, let's say it, Trump did those things in that 4-year span. He left it, I believe, Byron, correct me if I'm wrong here, he left it in good hands to the next administration.
He left it in good shape.
That's what I'm saying.
Until
Good shape is what I said. Until COVID hit, you're right. And then that messed up a lot of things. But on top of that, it did.
It messed up a lot of things because of government policy towards COVID.
Right. If COVID, okay, take COVID out of it. If COVID doesn't hit, the same thing still happens. Right? And that's what I'm trying to get to you. The same thing happens, right?
To a point, David. To a point.
Yeah. I mean, you can't blame that all on COVID.
No, you can't blame all. You can definitely not blame all of that on COVID. There are two things that I've told people. One of them is exactly what David just said. Is your life better now, or was your life better then? Financially. And if you can answer your life is better now financially, you have done something really right. And what you need to do is you need to sit back and you need to think about how much better it would be if the economy had been what it was 4 years ago.
Right.
Number two, I do not trust a person who has had the reins of power for 4 years and says they're going to change things if you give them a higher position in power, but has done nothing for the last 4 years with the position she had.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's where I was leading to.
Nothing.
If that was the case, why, and this is my thing, take politicalness out of it, just take the person. Why, as Byron said, has that administrator, that person, did anything about it? Nothing, absolutely nothing. But you're running, like Byron said, on the coattails that you're going to make this better. Why couldn't you, and again, I understand that President Biden is the president, but you're second in charge. Y'all should have been talking this over amongst each other and amongst your Congress to get these things fixed. But nothing, as you said, has been fixed in the last 3.5 years. And that's where I have a problem. I voted for Clinton back the first time. I crossed party lines and voted for Clinton, okay? So I looked at the candidate that I thought was best fit for that particular time. Me and Byron talked about this. Byron did the same thing. So, look, if I thought, honestly, and I'm telling you right now, if I thought, honestly, in my heart, that Kamala Harris would do a better job than Donald Trump, I would have had no problem voting across party lines, because I'm voting for who I think is the best candidate. Now, do I think that? Absolutely not. Just because of what me and Byron just said, because of history. History has shown that there has been, it's gotten worse, as a matter of fact. It hasn't even stayed even killed, Byron. It's gotten worse. And the problem is if she is elected, it's going to get progressively worse. And I don't know what else to say. And just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean you shouldn't vote for him. If you and Byron was running for office, okay, governor, okay, but I didn't like Byron, okay, but I liked you, Dave. But Byron's policies and his and what he's speaking on his platform was better than yours. I'm sorry, Dave. I don't like Byron, But Byron is going to be doing good for me. So guess what? I'm voting for Byron Bagwell. No matter if he's a Republican, Democrat, whatever, I'm voting for Byron because he's the one that makes more sense and appease me more than what you did, even though I'm your buddy. And that's what, and even though I didn't like you see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to get through people's heads out there. Please vote with your head, not because you don't like somebody.
Look, Donald Trump is a loudmouth.
He sure is.
Donald Trump says abrasive things. Donald Trump does a lot of things that I sit back and go,
Yeah.
please don't do that.
Please don't do that.
You are a typical man from the period you were born who lived in New York. Mm-hmm. You cannot stop your mouth from running when it comes to being insulted.
Right.
You just it's you're going to punch back, and part of me loves that.
I do too.
The other part of me understands when you're he's not a politician, and that's part of the reason why people have an issue with it. But when you are in our government, you cannot do that constantly, and he did, and some people loved it, but it divided the voter base so severely because people couldn't stand the way Donald Trump acted. And I kept on telling people, yeah, it's him, it's part of it's an act. Look at what he's doing for the country. Don't pay any attention to what they bait him, and he falls right into it. And it's like, part of me goes, yes, and another part of me goes, no, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't do it. There's no doubting we were better off. And I want to say a couple of things. First and foremost, you have to vote with your head, not your heart. We have this thing in America now where we look at politicians and we vote with our hearts. You can't vote with your heart. You have to vote with your head. This person is in control of the most powerful country in the world. Pretty much. I mean, there's checks and balances built into our Constitution that keep a president from doing just horrendous things for the most part. But you have to vote with your head, and you have to give it to a responsible adult. I'm going to say this. Kamala Harris had one job while she was vice president, and that was to be the border czar. Do you know how long it took her to go to the border? And she's the one that was supposed to be in control of it. And have you seen what has gone on with our borders? We have talked about that before. This lady has failed miserably at the one job she had. And now you want to hand the reins of the highest office in the country of the United States over to a woman who failed miserably? That doesn't make sense. You don't look at somebody who can't do their job and say, oh, we're going to give you a promotion. That doesn't make logical sense. We've come to a point in this country where we have about half of the voter population, they vote with their hearts. They don't vote with their heads. And I understand. Now, this I have an issue with. I understand she was handed that candidacy.
See, that's the other problem I have there, yeah.
I have a tremendous issue with that. And if I was a Democrat, I would have lost my mind when they did not give me an opportunity to actually have a primary and vote for the candidate that I wanted, not just have somebody give it. Because that is not democratic. It has nothing to do with democracy. That was the first thing that I wanted to say.
No. I'm glad you did, because I think we both agree on that particular point. And that's why I wanted to talk to people that are watching the show, and I wish they would share it. I want to take the political. Me and you've done this many times. And I know I'll tell you right now, I'm a registered Republican. Byron can tell you what he is. David can tell you what he is. I'm a registered Republican.
I am a registered Republican and have been since Bill Clinton's second term.
Yep.
After he pulled his deal lied on stand.
And
I think I've
that's
shared
when
that story.
Yep.
Okay. I want to say something else. I sit in my living room and watched a commercial that Kamala Harris put out bashing Donald Trump, saying that he's not good enough to be in office. We don't need the person with the type of moral character that Donald Trump has as a president. Let me tell you something. And I know she will never see this, but I would rather put somebody that's been basically railroaded into being a felon in the White House than somebody who was cheating with somebody and broke up a family. Willie Brown. Mm-hmm. I would rather put him in office over somebody that was Montel Williams' side chick. And I would most certainly rather put him in office over somebody that kept black men in prison longer than their prison terms to use basically as labor. You know what that's called? That is called slavery. Mm-hmm. And we sit back and we ignore it. And the Republicans, to me, made a very bad mistake by not parading some of those men on stage and not making commercials with them, because that would have been my first suggestion. Because that is exactly what Kamala Harris did as Attorney General of the state of California. She kept men in prison longer than their prison term to use as labor. That's a very serious accusation, but it is very, very true. None of those things that I just said are untrue. But that commercial she did about Donald Trump about made me lose my mind. That woman's got some nerve standing up there saying she's got a better moral character than Donald Trump. I don't care what he did with whoever. He's never done anything like what she did. So I don't trust her at all.
And it's not even that. It's not even that.
David.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's, look, we can talk about Donald Trump's moral character. We can talk about her moral character. You know what I am more just aggravated with than any of that? I don't care if she slept with 100 men. She has been in that position for 3.5 years and hasn't done anything. That is my key. I don't care. I can sit here, Byron. Me and you can sit here and bash her all day long. I don't care about that. My thing is what, lady, are you going to do for me, this guy's family, and every family in America? That's what I care about.
And David,
but I agree. She shouldn't have made that commercial. Period.
It was to bait the Republicans is what it
was.
Well,
of course it was.
And they didn't take the bait. But see, I am not the person that's running their campaign, so I can sit here and say stuff like that. But to have the utter gall to get on national TV and say you have a higher moral character than Donald Trump. Now, granted, some of the things Donald Trump has done, okay. I mean, there's been some situations that he's put himself in that's made me question some of that too. But I've never questioned the man's ability to run this country. And I don't think Kamala Harris can, period. And see, that scares me worse than anything else, because I don't think Joe Biden was running this country for the last 4 years. I don't think he had the mental capability to run this country for the last 4 years.
He was the puppet. He was the puppet, in my opinion. He was the puppet for who?
BS?
Obama. Yeah, Obama. And that's it. Barack Obama. He was the puppet for Barack Obama and constituents behind. Like you said,
I wasn't saying the term most people thought.
Yeah.
Barack Obama's name is really not Barack Obama. It's Barry Soetoro.
Gross, yeah.
So, look, I get angry with that type of stuff. That makes me want to just scream, because here we have one person that's has worse of a moral character than Donald Trump, getting up there bashing Donald Trump's character in front of a national audience. Look, this is a crazy election cycle. I have heard things out of Kamala Harris's mouth, and I've went, "You're a liar. I know better than that. I know better than that, and I can prove it." There was in one of those debates, she lied 37 times.
Yeah.
They fact checked her. She lied 37 times. You want that as your president?
See, and that's the whole key to this whole thing right here. Again, you know, we can put anybody's moral character out there, and we could say this one had this one had this one had this. And again, what you said strongly is who is going to be the person that can run this country the best. We all know from previous history that the man that is running against her right now was running this country like it should have been run. And this one here has done nothing in the last 3.5 years.
Nothing.
So why would I vote for that person that has done nothing, that has proven nothing to me? And actually, again, as I said, things have gotten worse. And is it going to, if she gets elected, let me throw a scenario at you. If she gets elected, you tell me and you tell this audience, what do you think is going to happen?
Nothing good.
Definitely.
At the very most that will happen, or excuse me, very least that will happen, it will stay the way it is right now. But knowing Kamala Harris's voting record as being the most socialist voter past Barry, whatever his name, Barry Sanders, or not Barry Sanders, Bernie Sanders, excuse me. Barry Sanders was a running back.
Yeah, he sure was a good
I
one.
am really sorry.
Yeah, a good one. You're sorry, Barry
really
Sanders.
sorry,
Yeah, he's a good one too.
Bernie's even more socialist than Bernie Sanders. What she's going to do with this country is you watch with the taxes. If she's elected, what's going to happen to us? Because they are going to pay for just the most absurd things that you can possibly think of on our dime. And make no mistake, it's our dime.
Oh, for sure it is.
We allow the federal government to tax us the way we do, the way they do.
I'm going to get to a couple of comments, Byron, and we'll continue this because I love what you're saying, man. I'm sitting here, got some chills in my bones. Shirley said, however, it is too late as voting should be over. Just pray hard that the outcome is fair and that the American people have seen the truth. Lisa, hello, how are you? Kelly Moore Rowland, I feel like they both interviewed for a position, only one of them nailed it. I like Trump because he is not a politician. He is abrasive, but he isn't sneaky.
Look,
That's Kelly Moore.
Kelly, I'm going to tell you, if I could resurrect Ronald Reagan,
Yes.
and let him run again, I would do that over and over and over and over and over
me
and
too.
over again. He was the best president I've ever seen.
Yes, he was the best president I ever voted for, and I know you was a young man, but he sure is. He was the David.
You can't do that at the same time because he's
All
already been
right,
president twice.
update right here. Electoral votes, right? So far,
Yeah.
Trump 23 and Harris 3.
Well,
And that's who's in right now. I can't see that far, David.
Indiana.
You know my eyesight's bad.
Indiana,
Kentucky.
and Florida's about to show up.
And Florida's
Yeah.
about to show. Okay, so 20.
West Virginia, Kentucky, and Indiana.
Okay, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana. So that's in. So it's 23-3 as it stands right now at 7:34 p.m. Let's see. I mean, look at the people Trump has surrounded himself with. One heck of a team. I'll call it for exactly what it is: good versus evil. And by the way, Kelly, I want to read what you said. She said, I think in one of her previous, she said, President Kelly, was it? I did make sure. I said, Kelly Moore rolling for president next time. She said, oh, God. Hey, I'd have wrote you in if you want me to. To be honest with you, I'd have wrote you in. You should have told me.
Look.
Yes.
The biggest problem with the way we elect people and what's going on in our country is there is no third party anymore that makes a complete difference at all. It was never designed to be a two-party system. Some of our founding fathers warned us against a two-party system, told us what would happen with it, and guess what? Where are we? We have a two-party system. So it is what it is right now, and what most people go about doing is which is the less of the two evils, and that is honestly, I don't think Trump is an evil, but I also don't think he's the best person in the world. But I think he knows how to run a business, and I think he knows how to run this country. So that's exactly what I did. I've had people get mad at me, and I voted for the man because I said, I wouldn't vote for him again if they allowed him to run for a third term. Oh, we want him forever. No, I don't want him forever.
No.
That's not how democracy and our republic works at all. So, it just is what it is.
Byron, keep talking. I'm just trying to find this thing. I don't know what the heck I've done here. I'm trying to find some internet service here. I can't even find it on my daggum iPad. And usually so now I just got to I got to figure out how I can connect to my Wi-Fi here. I don't even see the Wi-Fi signal. Oh, here we go. Hey, old boy.
I'm looking for the election results, and I'm having a hard time finding anything on using this.
Trump took Georgia.
Yeah, 54.
43.
43%.
Okay, so there we go. There was a state that.
Hold on. What percentage of the vote is in? Before you say that.
Yeah. Are they calling it?
This is one of the states we had the issue with the last time.
Yeah. Are they calling it? Did they call it?
I don't know if they called it, but
NBC's calling it.
So it's the
Well.
Associated Press.
The AP's calling it?
He's calling it. I have it right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, then, he took Georgia then.
He's taking Georgia.
That's one of the states I didn't think he'd have a chance to take, but he should.
I really believe he was going to take Georgia, but I thought it was going to be closer than that. There is no way Kamala Harris is going to take the state of Florida.
No, she's not. It's
There's-
already in.
No way. No. That's a foregone conclusion.
There is no way. I have heard estimates of Trump winning the state by 18
points. Yeah.
I don't think it'll be that high, but that's just, that's not going to happen. Florida's not going to go blue. There were some things that were done in Texas, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows about this or has heard about this. They flushed voter rolls. They did a whole bunch of things about people that weren't legally here that were actually registered on voter rolls that they expunged. They did a whole lot of things in Texas. Texas will not turn blue. It won't even turn purple. You watch what happens with Texas. That I can almost promise you. After what the governor of Texas just did.
When I was in Texas, you could tell it was a Republican state.
Look, it's if you look at a map of the United States, what you will see is a whole lot of red and a very little splotch of blue on the West Coast and on the East Coast. Most of those are the large population centers like New York City and Los Angeles and places like that. And then you'll see it splattered everywhere in a bunch of different places where it goes blue in some other spots. But the majority that swings that direction is in those two places in New York and California.
Well, no, shocker. Gainesville went blue.
I don't. Why did you even say that? Anyway, let me give this some.
Hold on. Are you talking about Alachua County or are you talking about Gainesville?
Alachua County. It went blue, and so did Broward, Palm Beach County.
Well, no, that doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise me.
Miami-Dade is red.
No, that's good.
That is good.
that is good. You know, look, you're going to have places like that. You're going to have
Good
places like
grief.
that.
I was going to plug my ears.
Look,
Let me get to some comments real quick because I want to answer before y'all start. I didn't even want to hear that garbage. And Mitchell Gunner, I agree. I am garbage too. Yes, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're garbage. We're all garbage.
Just call me Oscar.
Just call. Yeah. Hey, by the way, if you want to get me a whatever they wear, I'll go drive a garbage truck.
Yeah, as long as they pay me what garbage
men make. Shirley said, answer this one, B. She said there may be a civil war if she wins. What do you think about that? People's asked me about that, and I wanted to get your opinion on that.
I don't think that that's going to happen.
I don't either.
There are ways that it possibly could happen.
Absolutely.
You have the polls closed at 7 o'clock, and at 1 o'clock tonight, Donald Trump is winning this by 10 points, and then all of a sudden you wake up tomorrow morning, 11, 12 o'clock, and they call the race for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
There's going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Our federal government has to pull their head out of their rear end and stop this mail-in voting crap. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be stopped. The only people that should be allowed to mail-in vote are people that live in other countries that have citizenship here. And by that I mean average citizens and mostly our military.
Military. That's what I was just getting. Mm-hmm.
And our government officials. Those are the only people that should be allowed to mail in vote. Only people. You vote early all you want to. I don't like that either, really, but you vote early all you want to. But as far as mail in goes, you to me you have to prove you're completely and totally disabled, bedbound, to send in a mail in ballot. Now you can do that. I can get that. You can't move. It's fine. You send a mail-in vote too, but any other person that can walk, limp, push themselves in a wheelchair, do anything else to get to those polls, you go to the polls and you vote, and that's it.
So, Mitchell. So, you said Trump is projected to win. Do you know how much of the vote is in?
75% for Florida.
Okay, so far. What was Indiana? Do you show Indiana closed at 100?
I'm pulling up Indiana. Give me a second.
Okay, because Mitchell just come back and said that Trump is projected to win in Indiana. So, but you, according to Dave and your map, it's already posted in red, right?
Yeah, mine too.
Yours as well? Okay. Mitchell said only 19% is in
19% is in where?
in Indiana.
Indiana's done. It's popped up on the map as completed.
Indiana is popped up on the map in Fox News, West Virginia, and Kentucky.
Okay.
Yep, and Kentucky is done.
Mitchell, we're
And so
showing
is
that
Vermont.
Indiana
Oh, and of course, Vermont is blue.
blue. Yeah. So we show it that it's we show that it's done. So
Officially, it's
Indiana,
23.
West Virginia, Kentucky's in, right?
That's
Or
I'm
at
looking
least-
at. I'm looking at Fox News.
Fox News. Okay.
not looking
I'm not
at the
sure what
AP.
I'm not sure what Mitchell is watching. Kelly Moore Rowland says, I just feel it will be exhausting to have a civil war and World War III at the same time. But hey, she said she's in. Depends on what kind of law she implements. Try to take our guns and there will be trouble.
Well,
yeah, well, that's the other thing.
Look,
The only reason why Florida is listed.
I want everybody to think about this. Who is going to take our guns?
Exactly.
The sheriffs in Florida are not going to take our guns. They've already said they wouldn't take our guns, even if the federal government said they had to. They weren't going to do it. So it's not going to happen here.
I don't think the National Guard or the military is going to do it.
And as far as, and I'm going to tell you this, you really need to think about this. They're coming to get your guns, and there's multiple people that are doing it. You're going to go down in a blaze of glory for nothing.
Byron, who'd you say you were under?
You're best off making your guns disappear if that ever happens, or making yourself and your guns disappear.
Who'd you say you were under? What was you looking at?
That's Fox News.
He said Fox too. He said he was looking at it, and that's what he was showing. But anyway.
It's Vermont
Is
is
blue.
blue with 3 electoral votes.
Right.
Indiana with 11 is red. West Virginia with 4 votes is red, and Kentucky with 8 votes is red.
So it should be 23-3 Trump right
That
now.
is correct.
And Mitchell just said that he's ahead in South Carolina. I don't know how many votes are in. What else are you showing? You said 75% of the votes are in
The
Austin.
only reason why Florida's 75% is because when you get past Optical River, it is an hour behind us.
Well, that's true.
That's
I forgot.
correct.
That's
It-
correct.
it
You're
won't-
exactly right. I'm glad you
it
said
won't
that.
come in.
The 2 counties that are up on the panhandle above Tallahassee did go to Harris. The 2 county, I'm trying to think of the name of the counties right now. But of course, the Orlando metro area went to Harris, and then of course
All the bigger cities, right?
Byron's favorite place, Gainesville, Florida, did.
Okay. Jacksonville's not in yet.
Now Jacksonville's going red.
Okay.
I know some people in Alachua County right now that really do want to start a civil war. After
Yeah, I'm just getting ready to say somebody real. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Look,
So-
there is a school there that is about as liberal as you, or excuse me, as socialist as you can possibly get, and there is a ton of students at that school, so that does not surprise me at all.
Kelly Rowland. We are safe, but wow, there's people busting into people's homes to kill a poor little squirrel. Could you imagine? Kelly Rowland.
That was good.
That was good.
That really,
that was good.
That really was good.
That really was good. Shit, maybe I should have voted you in. I should have wrote your name in. But anyway, I want to move on, and we'll continue this. Austin, what time we're at? What do you got? 7:45.
It's 7:45.
Let's do the weather real quick. Let's take a commercial. Dave, you got a commercial? Let's take a quick commercial break, guys. Don't go anywhere. You can keep updating us here. We're looking at all the comments. Austin's going to give us a weather report because there is a tropical disturbance out there in the Caribbean, and he's going to tell us what he thinks is going to happen, and we'll do that right after this commercial break.
I'm going to send it to Renee.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida and David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
Here we go.
Here we are back to live action. What am I doing? Here we are back to live action right here at David Hurst Stadium. Byron.
David Hurst
That
Stadium.
is how much I miss football. Did you see what I did? Did you see what I just did?
Brother, did you see that hit?
Oh, my God, yes.
Did you see that hit?
Yes.
I mean, Georgia just jumped up and just walloped Kamala Harris. Trump is up 25 points in Georgia.
It's going to rain.
It's going to, yes, it is.
It's going to rain tears of
South
joy.
Well, tell
Carolina,
us.
he's up there too.
Yeah, that's what Mitchell just said, too. He said he's ahead in Carolina, South Carolina.
25.
Well,
25 points, that's a lot.
speaking
It's early, yeah, still, you're right.
Speaking of points, I know Florida had 2 major hurricanes
Yes, sir.
back on back. Mm-hmm. We ain't having a major hurricane. However, Renee, I put in a special request. Sharing is caring. Just don't send it back at us.
Oh, did you see? Why did Lisa have to put that on there?
What'd she put? I can't see it.
Chicken and dumplings are on. And yeah, Byron's going to eat them.
You got that right.
David's going to go eat peanut butter and jelly, I think. I don't know what the heck's on
I'm
that at
following
the house.
Byron.
She's making chicken and dumplings for Byron.
I'm following Byron.
Well, I guess I'm going to follow him too.
Yo, Byron, how was your visit
Yeah,
to the mountains?
those chicken and dumplings. Yeah, you're smiling. Look at you,
Yes, I'm
dog.
smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah, I know you're
Make
smiling. That's
it
all right.
up for all of us.
No, Shirley, I have not. But I'm telling, Byron probably already got it. That's all right. Shelley went and picked up a cake from your mom this afternoon. That's all right. I'm going to eat the rest of it.
Oh, no.
I'm
Oh,
following
no.
I
Dave.
already got it. Yeah, that's why she asked me if I just ate some of it.
Guess what?
You already had a piece, you dog.
2 slices.
At the house. Oh, my gosh. I can't win for
What
losing.
can I say?
All right, give us the weather, old boy.
All right, so we got unusually warm weather for Florida. Let's get that out of the way.
Let's get that out of the way.
Long-term model guidance through January is showing that David's going to have a busted water line.
Oh.
Really cold, probably.
It's gonna be really cold, probably about January.
What happens if my pipes are underground?
Oh, that sounds like a really nasty problem, and I'm pretty sure you'd fire me if I say what the real answer would be.
Oh God.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, you're good.
Anyways,
Haven't had a problem yet. Yeah, stick with the weather.
all right. Anyways, so we have highs in the mid 80s today for
Okay.
the nice election day. Tomorrow, lower 80s, but let's sprinkle in some showers and thunderstorms while I'm at it.
Oh, boy.
60%. Now we're going to continue that 50-50 shot through Friday, and then it'll start clearing out, and the sun will come back out. But your highs will stay from the lower 80s, midweek to end of week with the rain. We'll jump right back up into the mid 80s just for you, David.
All right, mid 80s. Okay, what about this tropical tropical storm that's out there? What are you seeing? What are you forecasting? I know it's still way out there. Tell me what you think.
Okay, so the computer model spread is pretty large.
Okay.
I would say anywhere from Panama City, the Panama City, Florida area, all the way to Houston, just east of Houston.
Okay.
On the coast would prepare for a minimum tropical storm, maybe a low end.
Oh, sorry.
What the heck?
Low end hurricane.
Hot air blowing that way would help.
I don't want anybody to get it, but please send it west.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't need.
Florida's got emotional damage already as it is.
I'm already missing football, and I don't want to miss another week of it. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, that was bad.
Sorry, Austin. Go ahead.
Anyways, if we have a day where we get a hurricane and it has to snow with that hurricane, we're in real trouble. But
Okay.
some history notes.
Okay.
Milton had hail and not only lightning but hail in its inner eye
Heard of
wall
that.
as
I
it
heard
was
that.
going past the Yucatan Peninsula. And did you see the tornado outbreak, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Tornadoes
That
are bad.
was
Yeah.
not normal whatsoever. That is also another sign that the atmosphere is changing drastically towards a severe climate change winter. Remember, I said that climate change winter. Your global
Okay.
warming is about to be proved, and I hope if we have a cold snap like Texas did in 2021, if it does come for us, where our power grid is prepared for it.
All right, so let me ask you something. Okay, after this one here, the actual official end date of hurricane season?
November 30th.
Okay, so do you see anything
No.
past that you think this is probably going to be it?
If, hopefully.
Hopefully, but you don't see anything out there right now.
No, nothing else. That just Raphael, and then
Uh-huh.
he's gonna go visit, like I said, Renee. He's gonna go say hi to Renee.
Is he? All
Yes.
right, you're wishing it to go to Mississippi then.
No,
Don't do that.
I'm not wishing it to go anywhere.
I
Dave.
wish, you know where I wish it'd go?
Dissipate.
To Mexico.
Oh well, unfortunately the jet stream
there's
won't let it.
No, I know it's not going to let it.
About 8 or 9 years ago, there was one that went around Florida and went up.
Yes,
and
it
then
did.
went through all the northern states.
Oh.
Let them have it for a while.
Was that Sandy?
Yes, it was Sandy.
Yeah, it was
Which
Sandy.
they're still fighting insurance claims up there, by the way.
Of Sandy?
Yes.
Oh,
man.
joy of joys! Change
Yeah.
your political
Political
stances.
stance,
Maybe
yeah,
you won't have
maybe.
that problem.
Well, not only that, I mean, there's an insurance provider that was by the state of New York that made its citizens sue it because it would not label Sandy because of the way they worded it. Just like they're doing in Florida.
Well, thank you, Austin, for that weather. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Thank you, and we'll update that weather here in just a couple of minutes. Mitchell Gunner was going to get to that. On the Spot Motorsports Media will be live streaming the Fall Brawl from Gainesville Raceway this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The
be
live
good weather.
streaming is sponsored by Gaspar Paint and Body. So make sure you tune in. Mitchell does a really good job with that page. It's our sister page. Got a lot of followers, a lot of people into motorsports and things like that. So make sure you follow Mitchell. That will be a great live stream to watch. Does a really good job with that live stream. So make sure if you ain't got nothing going on Friday night, there's no Friday night football, maybe you go out and watch the Fall Brawl from Gainesville Raceway. Gary Wallace, thank you for joining us. Thank everybody else for joining us on the spot with David Rodgers. David Rodgers, Byron Bagwell, Dave Holland, Austin Stevens. You just heard the weather, so make sure you cherish that weather. Election night 2024, Byron. Been talking a little bit about everything to do with this election. We're trying to get you some numbers. I know y'all are at home excuse me. Hopefully you're enjoying your meal. If you've already eaten your meal, hopefully you've got some kind of soft drink, David, or some kind of drink, and you got some popcorn, and you've got your news channel on and following the election and seeing what's going on with the two candidates that are running. I do want to get to the local election, Byron. Can you pull up? I know you got the national right there. Can you pull up the local election? We did have the superintendent of schools running and all that. Do you mind pulling that up, or do you need me to pull it up?
Do
you want to hold that, or?
It doesn't matter. I can go right back to it.
Okay, all right. So Byron's going to pull that up, and in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things that I found today. And I was reading a bunch of things at work today. I hope nobody's listening. Jimmy Bowers, don't tell on me tomorrow. I do have my desk, so I was sitting there just checking out some things, and I just want to give you 7 failures of this administration. Let's call it the Biden administration because he was the president, Biden administration. So Byron talked about several of these already, but I want to get in depth with you a little more. So one, Byron said what she was in charge of. She's supposed to be the border czar, the border crisis, number one. Security at the southern border has been an ongoing disaster, though one barely given coverage by the legacy media. The massive spike in border crossing initially was excused by Biden allies and the media as a seasonal problem. It was seasonal, all right. Open border season. Since Biden took office, the historic surge of migrants have crossed the border illegally in numbers that are the highest in decades, and the problem isn't going away. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, U.S. agents logged 153,941 migrant encounters just in the month of January of this past year. This was double the number of the encounters the previous January and quadruple the number from the January before that. Just 3 months into this year, we're already exceeding 2 million plus. And Byron, those are just astronomical numbers. And I want to get your opinion on something before I go to the next thing, is if President Trump gets elected. And hopefully, as the numbers keep going, and I know you got the local results, and I'll let you do that in just a minute. How would he go about cleaning up and getting these illegals out of our country? Let me ask you this, and you can answer. Is there too many of them now to get every one of them out of here? I mean, because they're in different cities, they're in different states, they're everywhere, and they're causing an issue. And unless you've got a criminal record, it's really hard to spot these guys, isn't it? How would he go about doing that?
Well, David, first and foremost, I don't know how our federal government doesn't know exactly where these people are because they're funding them.
Well, that's true.
Cut the funding off. That's how you get rid of them. They don't get a dime. You get nothing. You don't get Medicare, Medicaid. You don't get Social Security. You don't get state funds. You don't get local funds. You don't get health care. You don't get any of that.
Okay, so how about the ones that are affiliated with gangs and things like that are more low keyed and doesn't require funding from the government or isn't getting funding from the government? How do you find those people? How do you get rid of them?
With a 30 caliber piece of lead?
But I mean,
you're here illegally. You're a criminal. You're committing crimes.
Okay.
You go into those. You got to get into that gang.
You have no legal.
You see where I'm going?
To a trial.
Yeah, it's not just.
No. I agree with what you're saying. I mean, how do you? What kind of operation? Okay, let me go back. What kind of operation would you have to do to infiltrate a lot of these that are gang members or that are affiliated with gangs in these inner cities and places that you're not aware of? Well, and like you said, if you're coming in here and you're not a criminal,
talk to the local police. The local police can tell you where the gang activities is.
Okay.
And then you go in with either the National Guard or the military or the FBI or the CIA or any number of organizations that could handle that.
Well, our local sheriff's department has a department that would handle that right off the bat, and if it gets out of hand, then you bring in the bigger guys.
Well,
See that?
If you're talking about
Okay.
violent gangs, drug dealing, cartel type gangs
with weapons.
you let the military handle that, and the sheriffs can direct it. They can tell you where these people are. They know where it's coming from. They can't do anything about it. So you bring that in and you get rid of those people. Now, there's people going to say you don't really want the federal government doing that. But if there are people in this country that are not citizens of this country doing that, that is literally an act of war.
And my thing is, I think as you're saying too, and I agree with you, Byron, I agree with you 100%, is how do you find all these people? I understand that you're saying that people should know where these people are at, but you're not going to get everybody.
Well, I mean, of course you're not going to get every single one.
That's what I'm saying. We've let too many in for that now.
You get rid of 80, 85, 90% of them.
Okay.
And the rest of them are going to run.
Well, here's the thing. If you get rid of funding people that come here illegally, they will not come here.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
If you look at them and tell them, we're not paying you anything, we're not educating your children, get out. And by the way, we're not going to allow anybody to come here that's pregnant, have a child inside the United States, and have them be a naturalized citizen, because that's not what it was meant for.
Right.
That's not, absolutely was not what that clause in the Constitution was meant for. They leave. The ones that they're just here to sponge off of the country, they leave. The other ones probably leave too and go, I really want to be a citizen of the United States. Let me do this the legal way. And then we can go about talking about the things that people complain about the most, how hard it is to become a citizen. Well, okay, it should be hard.
Mm-hmm.
It should be hard. Mm-hmm. This is supposed to be a melting pot. It is not supposed to be a diverse culture where you have this section over here, you have this section over here, you have this section over here. It is meant to be a melting pot of people that take pieces of everybody's culture and make it into the American culture. And it has done that. But the one common ground in that is we all are Americans. We are not La Raza. We are not an Irish culture. We're not a German culture. We're not an Indian culture. We're not a Native American culture. We are Americans. Mm-hmm. And if you can't become an American and you want to keep your identity as someone from another country, you don't belong here.
Right.
Sorry.
And that's exactly right. So I just want to get your opinion on how. Yeah, somebody asked me, are they going to be? No, you're not going to get everybody. No, it's impossible. You're not going to get everybody. But like Byron said, if you can hit 80, 85%, who? Like Dave said, the others may say, hey, I'm getting the heck out of here, man. Coming for me next. They may find me next.
Yeah. The majority of them are just going to leave if you cut off all their funding, because how are they going to survive?
Yep.
Exactly.
I mean, you cut their completely cut their funding. The government gives them no more money, and you're not allowed to work because you don't have a green card.
Right. So you have to make money, right? So what do? Now you become a criminal. So now you have to rob people and steal and do that to get your money. So now guess what you are? Now you're a criminal. Now when you do a criminal act, now we got a chance to catch you, and then we can get you that way
With a 30 caliber piece of
lead. Yeah.
Well, those gangs you're
Because that's
talking
exactly
about,
what you
that's
should do.
pretty much about how they handle things anyway.
Well, you're talking about some of the most violent characters inside of the United States right now. They're vicious. They're violent. They have no moral code. They will kill anybody, anywhere, for anything at all. Probably for looking at somebody at them wrong. Mm-hmm. They will kill you.
They will. Yep.
I love our police force, but I would not ask our men in blue to go handle that. That is a war type situation.
That's kind of true.
this is where they are. Did you roll in the Abrams?
Yep.
And you kill these people is what
See,
you do.
here's the problem with that too, and I agree. Here's the problem with that. I'll give you the prime example. That apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado, that got taken over by the MS-13 gang. The problem is they're using civilians as human shields, collateral. Well, can you say that though? Can you really say that though? It's not their fault.
You can't say that inside of the United States.
Yeah.
I was saying you're talking about collateral damage.
Yeah, collateral. Yeah.
They have to come out sometimes.
Yep.
They have to come out sometimes.
Well, for years we have had training on dealing with rural situations like that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
They probably got an answer for that.
I'm not.
Let me tell you,
I am
that
not
is your
trying.
Special forces.
I am not trying to be cruel and inhumane or not care about life, because you are not talking about human beings. You are talking about human monsters. Is what you're talking
Texas
about.
is going blue.
Yep.
Do what?
What?
Texas is going blue.
What percentage of the vote
Votes is in on
I
that.
am checking that right now, but it is right now 35 Kamala Harris electoral votes and 95 Trump.
Okay. It's a good thing. 95 Trump, 35 Harris.
Yep, I am
Okay.
checking on Texas right now.
So
you wanted it real quick before
yeah,
we
go
keep
ahead.
on doing.
Yeah, I
this.
want you're getting the local.
The local is the majority of the votes are in
Okay.
locally.
Okay.
78.2% of the votes have been counted. It's gone to Trump
Okay.
by a count of 10,384 to 2,810. Rick Scott, it's gone to Rick Scott by 75%, 9,861 to 2,872.
That's the office for U.S. Senator, by the way. Yeah.
Yes, and when is the last time you heard that a voter turnout in Bradford County hit 72.76?
It's been a while. God, I told you that's why those lines were long. Byron said he stood in a line with about 30 deep. So did I. It's crazy how many people. This is what we were saying about this election is so very important, because I think people are seeing right now what's going on in this country right now, and I think they're wanting their vote heard, and that's the way you do it. You go to the voters' vote.
Cat Camick in Bradford County, 10,157 votes to 2,681 votes. And that's almost the identical number to Rick Scott.
Rick Scott, wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brian Kramer, 10,149 votes to 2,509.
We had Brian Kramer on the show, by the way.
Yep.
He's a good,
State's attorney.
yeah.
And State Representative number 1, Chuck Brannon, 9,866 votes to 2,658. Will Hartley, overwhelming numbers, 10,554 to 2,040. So Will Hartley will be
The superintendent.
your superintendent of the school. There's not enough votes left in Bradford County.
No.
Everybody showed up at the end and voted to make it 100% to get that over.
Right.
And then Shannon Smith, District 1
County Commissioner.
County Commissioner.
She beat Spooner?
Nope.
No.
786 votes to 1,009.
So Carol Spooner will.
Carolyn Spooner will Brown Spooner will be the new
County Commissioner.
County Commissioner. Supreme Court justices.
We don't care about that.
Nobody will know these Supreme
No.
Court justices. Constitutional Amendment number 1, which was
Got you right here, old boy.
what was number 1?
Number 1 is partisan election of members of district school boards.
It's about 60%.
Leave that right there, David.
Yes. 39%, almost 40% no. Constitutional Amendment number 2.
Right to hunt and fish
The
and
right
hunt.
to hunt and fishing. Overwhelming 80% to 19%. 10,247 votes to 2,444. And who in their right mind in Bradford County How is there 2,444 people in this county that says that there is no right to fish and hunt?
Yeah.
In Broward County?
Bradford County.
Wow.
So what was it?
Something's not right with that number. I'm sorry, there is something not
You
right.
think it may be crossed over?
I don't know what that is, but
Animal lovers.
yeah, well,
Animal lovers?
Okay.
okay. Constitution Amendment number 3.
Boy, that was close.
It was really close. 6,536 votes yes, 6,598 no.
So it didn't make it.
Not
Not
here.
in Bradford.
Not in Bradford.
Not in
that,
Bradford.
that will go. That's a statewide thing. So we
yeah.
don't. But
We-
Bradford County voted no,
No.
on that.
Yep.
Constitutional Amendment number 4.
Oh God.
4,367 votes yes, 8,550 votes no. So the abortion amendment is a no in Bradford County. By
So I have it
66 to
written down.
33.
Let's see.
Constitutional Amendment number 5, which one was this?
The
one?
homestead. The homestead. Yeah.
7,351 yes, 4,550 no.
Okay.
That one is one of the two that I thought should pass.
Me too. And I did the same thing.
The hunting one and the other one, the rest of them got no votes from me. Constitutional Amendment number 6, this is the one about funding for political.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, the repeal of public campaign financing requirement.
No, absolutely not. No.
That was overwhelming. Was that? Or
No,
was it? No.
it passed here. 6,291 to 5,539. Look, here you talk about bringing big power into small communities and influencing their elections. That is what Bradford County just voted yes for.
Yes, for. Yep.
Oh, that is just a horrible amendment. And
I think that's it on that.
that's
right?
on the constitutional amendment. Stark Amendment, vote for 1. I don't know what.
I'm not sure what that's about there.
Hampton Amendment, vote for 1. The vote for 1 passed
It's a school
for
thing.
Stark.
What is it for?
I think it's for a school thing, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
But it pretty much overwhelmingly passed, 1,527 to 687, and then Hampton was 118 to 48. So both of those amendments were passed.
I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure what that is. Do you know what that is?
I'm not
What amendment?
But Mitchell may know.
Stark Amendment, vote for Stark Amendments.
Shirley, I agree with you. She says, I don't think so many didn't understand the amendments. And bless you, sir. We went over them and we had Dan go over them. I know Byron wasn't here on the show. And you really have to read into it. I know sometimes it's not in layman's terms for you. And like Byron said, you could be voting something yes that you wanted yes, and you may vote no just because of the wording of it. And Byron, you really have to really read into there, look into that to really figure out what it is that you want to vote. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes those amendments are tough because you know what else they do? They try to interject something else in them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, so the right to fish and hunt. They may also put something about smoking tobacco there or something. You know what I mean? You just got to read the fine print sometimes. It's always some kind of hidden agenda. These were playing out pretty good, though, I will say.
Most of these were straightforward.
They were straightforward.
Unless you read 3 and 4, which are books.
Yeah.
And anytime you see a book, the
Yeah.
answer should be no.
Yeah. Now, I voted yes for the marijuana deal. And the only reason I did, and I'll tell you I did, I voted yes for that, and that was just because of the fentanyl problem that's going on around here.
David,
And I know why you voted no, and I could have swayed either way.
look,
you know.
I honestly, people are going to smoke marijuana if they want
They
to
are
smoke
going
marijuana.
to. Yeah.
What you're basically doing with this amendment is you're telling people that want to smoke marijuana that it is legal to grow one pot plant inside of their house.
Yeah.
And what you're going to do is you're going to hand over to a couple of big businesses the business in Florida for growing marijuana and the state government collecting the tax money from that.
Well, then they better put it to schools or something then if
Well,
that's the case.
just like the lottery. That's what
Yeah.
they're saying they're going
To
to
do.
Like I said, just like the lottery, that's what they're saying they're going
Yeah,
to do.
we haven't, yeah.
Okay, look, my major issue with this is the fact that you're going to take something that there are a lot of people that do.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make it illegal, whether it's good for them, bad for them, or in between for them. You're going to allow them to do that in open public, just like everywhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, if this passes, I am videotaping every single person that smokes that in my presence. Because when I get fired from my job because I have THC in my system, I am going after every person that I videotape.
And I agree with you.
Every single person.
I agree with that. And look, I really wanted to vote no on this thing because of what you just said. I mean, you'll be able to light up in a park where children are at. You'll be able to, and like you said, who wants to smell that? If you're not, if you're,
I don't. If you want to smoke in your house,
that's fine.
Your business.
That's
it's
fine.
Been, to me, it's been your business forever.
Yeah.
There are certain amounts of marijuana that the police ignore because it's a misdemeanor.
You're not allowed to be out in public and smoke, kind of like drinking alcohol.
Oh no.
Yeah.
With this amendment,
But they're not going to throw you in jail for it.
well,
no, and see,
not
that's
al-
the thing.
You're not allowed to grow it either,
one plant.
unless you have a medical card,
Yeah.
marijuana card.
Yes.
One plant.
Then you're allowed to grow, I think, up to 3 or so.
Yeah, and also what comes into play too is just not state law, federal law comes involved in that too at some point.
Federal law,
You have to still abide by that.
you got to abide by
Marijuana-
that, which is
Yeah.
illegal.
Which is illegal. Which is
Marijuana
illegal.
is illegal, period.
Yeah.
In the eyes of the federal government. So I mean, you're see, this law to me opens up a can of worms for the state of Florida because how do you get around the federal law? I mean, I know there's other states that do it.
The big thing with that amendment is the people that's got the money and the land to grow it.
Well, it'll be monopolized.
It'll be monopolized.
Monopolized, yeah.
They don't want to share that money with us.
Well, here's the thing. I understand business. I really do understand business, but you're not talking about just a person here that's got an 80-acre farm that turns it into a marijuana patch. You're talking about big business coming into Florida, buying up property to grow marijuana and then making the money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And probably sending that other places than Florida.
So, Byron, let me read this, and then we'll get it. And I think all of us has got great points here, and I'm with you guys about, people that need it for medical purposes usually smokes it in their home, or in some private place that's not in public. If you need it, and you're not saying that at all. If you need it for medical purposes, yes, do what you have to do with that, but you do it in the privacy of your own home, or like if you need it, like if you're at a park and you need to because of something, go smoke it in your car or something. Don't smoke it in front of children and at a park, or in front of adults at a park that wants to smell that stuff, that doesn't like it or doesn't need
to
it.
me, it's not even about the smell. To me, the problem is that I'm telling you,
That's what we said, Mitchell.
most employers will not let you have THC in your system and go to work.
Mm-hmm.
They will fire you.
My company won't.
Mine won't either.
That doesn't protect you from that either.
It doesn't protect you.
No,
It
you
doesn't-
can't use that at all.
You can't use it at all. So what's going to end up happening is what is going to happen to these people who are minding their own business and they're around people that are smoking marijuana, and you get that secondhand smoke, and you end up with THC in your system, and then you're fired for something that you haven't even done. And I know that's I understand that you would have to be directly around somebody to get that, but it can happen.
We'll go over and visit a friend, and they're in the living room burning one.
Yeah, I mean,
You are around it. And then you go and get tested the next day at work,
sure.
and what? You fail and you get fired.
And you didn't even. People are going to have to start thinking differently about that, because I'm telling you, if you legalize it, people are not going to think about that. Even the ones that don't smoke it are not going to think about that.
Yeah, it's legal.
So here we go. Let me read this to you. Allows adults 21 years or older to possess, purchase, or use marijuana products and marijuana accessories for non-medical personal consumption by smoking, ingestion, or otherwise. Allows medical marijuana treatment centers and other state licensed entities to acquire, cultivate, process, manufacture, sell, and distribute such products and accessories. Applies to Florida law. Does not change or immunize violations of federal law, as we spoke about.
Can't do that.
Establishes possession limits for personal use. Allows sales of non-medical marijuana would be subject to sales tax and would remain so if voters approve this amendment. Based on other states' experiences, expected retail sales of non-medical marijuana would generate at least $195.6 million annually in state and local sales tax revenues once the retail market is fully operational. Although the timing of this occurring is unclear. Under current law, the existing statutory framework for medical marijuana is repealed 6 months after the effective date of this amendment, which affects how this amendment will be implemented. A new regulatory structure for both medical and non-medical use of marijuana will be needed. Its design cannot be fully known until the legislature acts. However, regulatory costs will probably be offset by regulatory fees. Other potential costs and savings cannot be predicted. This proposed constitutional amendment is estimated to have a net positive impact on the state budget. This impact may result in generating additional revenue or an increase in government services. Let me read what Mitchell said, what you just said. Do you remember the lottery? All the money supposed to go to the schools? This will happen the same way with that marijuana bill.
Yep.
I just, look, if you want to smoke marijuana, I can care less.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not legal,
Yeah.
but that's your body.
Yeah.
That's up to
But if you need it legally, you can obtain it legally if you get a marijuana
Do
card.
you know how hard it is to get a medical marijuana card?
Not hard at all.
It's not hard at all.
No.
I mean, you can have the sniffles,
Yep.
and they'll provide you with one, and then you're legal to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you want to do, go do it. But this is opening a big can of worms, because once a government gets involved with it, there is almost never ever what is promised to happen. Government does two things well: force, and they collect taxes.
Yeah.
Those are the two things government, on a general rules go, they do well. If you have the right people in enough quantity in one of the governments, state or federal, then they start doing some other things well. But it never lasts because of the way our system is set up, because it's supposed to change. I don't want any part of our government doing stuff like that.
And I see where you're coming from. I agree. I just had a little different view on that.
David, I'm not jumping on anybody
Yeah.
that voted yes for that,
Yeah.
because
There is some. Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I really do, and there's a bunch of people who believe the schools will get funded by that voted for that because of that reason. But look, You can do and say what you want to say. There are a whole lot of
David,
medical studies out there
Where's that map at? Go ahead.
that
Bill.
say marijuana is a gateway drug.
Say it again.
The map. That you had.
The
up.
electoral map is
Yeah.
what you're looking for?
Yeah. Do you got it right there? Okay. Why don't you read off, B, what we got so far?
Okay. Vermont, Maryland, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, Maine, and D.C. have all been, and Illinois have all been called for Harris. Florida, South Carolina, West Virginia, Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Indiana, and Missouri and Oklahoma have all been called for Donald Trump. That's according to Fox News. Now, some other places probably have some different calls. I'm looking for the actual stat
And right now,
chart.
with what he read, 95 to 35, Trump electoral votes to Harris is 35 right now, as we are in the 8:25 hour. What do you have, B?
Well, I'm looking at this, and
And Texas is still counting.
Texas
Texas
is still
is still
counting.
going to be counting.
Oh, yeah.
There are counties in there like Florida, like that are.
And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Byron, I'm trying to remember. Yes, in what part of it, like El Paso and that area, Mountain Time?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
There are
Yeah.
some areas that are
Yeah,
different
time zones. What do you
there's
got,
gonna-
Dave? Oh, just look in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Florida, they've called for Trump. There's 90% in, and he's won at 55.
still, the number still keeps going up, doesn't it? I just
Yeah.
seen it click.
Georgia, Trump is now up 11 points with 56% of the vote in. Mm-hmm. So there's still counties that are coming in from that. Harris, they haven't called North Carolina
Right,
for Harris, and she's up by
11
But only
points.
10% of the state
No.
is counted.
3.5. Yeah, only 11%. 47% of Georgia is counted. Ohio, Trump has got a very small lead in Ohio, and it's 39% of the vote has been counted. Michigan, well, Harris has got a 19-point lead, but only 4.5% of the votes have been counted.
Right.
Pennsylvania, Harris is up by 45%, but there's only been 7.58% counted. So this is going to come in slowly. We'll have a much better idea here in about, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours about what's going on as the votes come in with this.
So I want to get back to a couple of other things too. You know, we were talking about the Biden administration. The first thing we just talked about earlier was the border crisis, and Byron, I thought, gave a great explanation of what why this has gone on and why how it could be cleaned up. Byron, one of the things I've talked to you about this. I'm former military. Your dad was former military. Not former about it. Was military. Dave was military. Austin's dad was military. And God rest his soul up there. I hope he's looking down on us here. But anyway, the messy Afghanistan withdrawal. That's probably one of the main things that irks me the most about how we withdrew from there and left all that military equipment, the people that died there, the people that we left there was uncalled for, that was handled improperly, and people just that administration just seemed okay. No problem, Byron. That Russia's got this plane or that plane, or China's got this or that, or North Korea's got this and that, the Middle East has got this and that. Nobody seems to really care, brother, except me and you and the people in this room and some of the people that's watching this show. That aggravates the mess out of me.
Well, you talk about Russia and China. They have the ability to reverse engineer what we had there. And what that means is figure out how it was made and then duplicate it, is what that means. You want to talk about a breach of national security of monumental proportion? You leave our weapons of war somewhere when you withdraw. Really? You're not talking about the howitzer that's sitting at the split down here on 301. Not only that, we lost American lives in that withdrawal with the way we did that. We left American citizens there too, by the way, which nobody talks about.
Nope.
We left people there that were our allies that were supposed to be pulled inside of America and given green cards too. So you're talking about Islamist extremists that cut people's heads off with knives for fun.
And video it, tape it, and show it to you.
Well, I mean, what? Pardon the graphic description, but you're talking about handing that country back into just insane people.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you did it was horrific. It made no sense militarily. It made no sense from logistic standpoints. It made no sense, period. But they did it anyway. And then you that whole situation, man, it just makes my blood boil.
Me too, and that's one of my things. That's one of my pet peeves on one of these 7 points that I got. But anyway, it was one of the lowest points of American foreign policy since the fall, if y'all remember, of Saigon at the end of the Vietnam War. Yeah, without a doubt.
Or the Iranian hostage situation under the peanut farmer from Georgia.
So the Biden administration assured the country that the withdrawal would be orderly and that the Afghanistan government was stable upon Americans' departure. We clearly had a massive failure of intelligence since the Afghanistan government collapsed and the Taliban took over the country in just a few weeks. Byron mentioned that many times when we talked about this. To make matters worse, as the crisis was unfolding, Biden administration seemingly was nowhere to be found. The world witnessed a massive fiasco with videos of Afghans falling off departing planes in a desperate attempt to escape, but the administration kept quiet about it, then made excuses. Every reliable left-wing media figures began to question Biden's leadership and competence on this matter. Biden struggled to answer even the most basic questions about the botched operation without getting belligerent and essentially saying there was nothing he or his advisors could have done to prevent that catastrophe. Excuse me.
Devil, do you say there was nothing you could do? You could have stayed. How about that? There's the most obvious thing. You could have stayed, dipstick. Sorry.
So no, because keep going. That's not what it looked like when administrative officials were tested by its first real foreign policy crisis. Instead, they created a crisis of confidence in American leadership around the world.
Are you kidding me? You have a military force there, and you didn't have to withdraw.
All right. Hey, Barnes,
Solves
real
the
quick.
whole thing.
Yeah, a real quick update. Something closed out here. Trump 101 electoral votes, Harris 49.
The other thing I wanted to say is Ron DeSantis posted to his X account, Amendment 3 and Amendment 4 are cooked. They're not on the books. It will not be put in law.
Okay, so the state, that's pretty much squash.
And the abortion.
And the abortion,
are,
okay.
Are,
That's
they're
right.
not going into law.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well,
That's
yeah.
the nicest way I can put it without
So,
he put it.
no, I know how you probably put it. So what I see here is Harris got Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Maryland, and now Trump's got Indiana, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Do you see something else?
No, but the numbers in Oklahoma will scare you probably.
Really?
Probably, yes. Oklahoma, I can promise you, was probably something like 95 or 96% for Trump.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I would say. I don't know what those numbers are. I don't know if you can pull those up, B.
I can, but give me just a second. It's 111 from what I've got.
Okay, you got 111 now to 72, so something is updated. I need to refresh this. All right, mine hadn't updated. Wow.
South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi.
I still see the 49 to 101 on the Associated.
Okay, Byron's got a little update.
This is Fox. So
Fox News.
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I don't know which state they called it. Missouri, Indiana, West Virginia, Arizona, Tennessee, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Mississippi,
Arkansas. Yeah.
Arkansas.
Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Florida. That's what they've called.
Yeah, Cheryl, you were saying that South Carolina was really getting in their votes, and you were seeing it starting to turn red a little bit. Ain't that what you told me earlier in the show? So,
Carolina.
David, what do you have? You still have 101 to 49. Byron's got a little updated little thing there, too, so maybe it'll change over here in a minute.
Okay, Virginia is actually turned around, and now Trump is leading in Virginia.
Okay.
South Carolina, Trump got.
Yes. Yeah, right. Yeah.
You're looking at Fox, too.
You're looking at Fox as well, right? Okay.
Now,
What do you have, Dave? You still have 101 and 49?
oh,
What are you seeing now,
He
B?
went up.
North Carolina, Trump is in the lead now.
Oh, and you remember just 10 minutes earlier?
North Carolina's in the lead.
Ohio.
South Carolina.
In Ohio, yeah.
South Carolina did go Trump, according to the Associated Press.
Yeah. Okay, Dave, yours hasn't changed over.
Michigan and Pennsylvania, and I find these numbers hard to believe. Harris is up 43.10% in Pennsylvania.
Oh, they're tied, Nick, in North Carolina.
Okay, they're
The one
dead
that
even
they
right now in North
Yeah, it's
Carolina.
49,
Yes,
it's
49. Yeah.
49.5.
Yeah.
But it's only 13%.
Percent in. Yeah.
13.6% in.
Yeah.
This is going to go on all night long, guys. Don't.
Yeah.
These numbers are.
Yeah.
There are really low percentages coming from most of these states. Florida is a definite with 91.1%.
Yeah, we're definitely.
Yeah, but
Trump-
he got another point, though. He's 11 now, or 111 now.
That's what Byron was showing right there.
Trump won Florida by 13%. By the way,
About 13%.
right now it's 13% with 91.23. I didn't
Okay.
think it would be the 18 that we were talking about. But
According to Mitchell, and I'm assuming he's watching Fox, he said Trump jumped ahead in Virginia by 0.3%.
Hey, he's ahead of Georgia.
And he's ahead in Ohio and where else?
Georgia.
Yeah.
He's ahead by 10 points in Georgia, 10.8 points in Georgia, and there's 51% of the votes in.
So let's just do a little math here. Byron, do you remember, Dave, we talked about this, how many electoral votes is in California? Do you remember, Bow?
60?
Is it
No,
60?
it's not 60.
No?
I don't think it's 60. I
Okay,
think
she's
it's-
going to get those.
Give me just a second, I'll tell you.
He's ahead in Texas.
54. So you can add 54 to her total right now without anything else, because if California goes red, oh my God, I would just flip over in this seat. I would, Dave. I would just flip over in this seat. I would try to do a headstand, and I can't do one.
California's been red in the past, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
during Reagan.
Okay, so
Ronald Reagan was a Republican. He was
Uh-huh.
he was the governor of California. Texas has 40. That evens that out, David.
Okay, so that'll even. Okay, yeah,
a little bit.
a little bit. And he, Mitchell said, and I think you're saying the same thing. In Kentucky, we've already had that circled red. So he said he's projected to win in Kentucky. Obviously, he must have already gotten that, or is close to getting it because it's painted red. So what are you seeing now?
New Jersey went blue.
Oh, that doesn't
always
surprise
do.
me. That does not surprise me.
It is
Yeah.
now 52 Kamala Harris, according to Associated Press, to 101 Trump electoral votes.
52 to 1.
101. And then you probably show a different number, don't you, B?
I've got 72 to 1.
That's what I
got
see.
72 and then
1 into 111.
111. Yeah.
So
No,
anyway,
the way the AP is taking their approach is when it's like basically over when it's over a majority, like when Florida popped over 75%, that's when they went. And
They
said
went and
they
said-
They went
Yeah.
and said, yeah, I got you.
They're being very conservative.
That's what we're seeing, Mitchell, Shirley, and everybody is still on with us. 111 to 72 is what we're seeing as well. So, Dave, that's what you're seeing on your phone right now, or is yours updated? You got it out of it?
Please look at the percentages
Yes, yes.
of the votes that are in.
Yep.
Please look at the percentages. Because if you look at what's going on in Georgia, there's 52% of the vote, and Trump is up by 10%. There is still 48% of the vote that has not been
Absolutely.
Well, Trump won up again
So,
in Georgia,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's up by 10.9.
9 now.
and he moved up again.
And he was down, what was it when we looked at it, Byron, 15, 20 minutes ago? What was he down?
I'm not sure.
I forgot what it was.
But be careful, because I remember this from 4
Me
years
too.
ago.
Yep.
Look, you're still talking.
Presidential election.
You're still talking about big counties that they're still coming in with their votes that have lots of people in them. So take all of this with a grain of salt. All of this, until it gets to about 70-75%, is not certain unless somebody has a 20-point lead. Now, a 20-point lead evaporates.
Right.
Then you got to look at it like, what? No, that is not possible. But you have to take a look at this and take it with a grain of salt. 10 points is almost an insurmountable amount of points to get over, and I don't care what state you're in or what you have to count. So hopefully Georgia is going
Hey,
to
Regina.
swing the way they should.
Yeah, Lisa sure did. I think Byron said that, and she said Trump got Missouri. I think you said that earlier, right?
I believe so.
All right, let's lighten it up, the mood a little bit, and we'll start closing the show down. So you remember I told you that the CFP was out. This is the first official ranking tonight on election night for the 12-team playoff. So it's out. The very first one's out. No surprise to me. Oregon's number 1.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Ohio State's 2. Georgia's 3. And to me, as much as I don't like them, Miami's 4, and I think they should be a little higher than that. They're undefeated. I know they've squeaked by some games. Texas is 5. Penn State is 6 after losing to Ohio State this past weekend. Tennessee's 7th. Indiana's 8th. Indiana's got a good football team.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
Indiana's impressive.
Impressive,
That's gonna
man.
be a
Oh, my
dangerous
God.
team.
It's going to be a dangerous team for somebody. BYU is 9th.
That's another team that's going to be dangerous for
Yeah,
people.
they play Utah this weekend, and Notre Dame is 10. Guess who goes sees Notre Dame this weekend? Sorry, man. Our boys got to go see Notre Dame this weekend. But you know what, man?
Or, you know, it would not surprise me if
would
they
not.
played the best football game
Absolutely.
of the year
To
and they
not-
beat Notre Dame.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I
Notre Dame
fully
is
agree.
a paper tiger and has been a paper tiger forever.
Yep.
When is the last time they did anything?
49.4 to Harris is 48.6 in Virginia. Okay. So, yeah, it would not surprise me, Byron. No, it would not surprise me if Florida State went up there and beat them, and they're not supposed to, because I'm assuming that Notre Dame's probably favored by, what, 14? Probably a couple of
Probably
touchdowns
more
more
than
than that. 17?
Something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Look,
Alabama's 11th. Boise State is 12. Watch out for Boise State, group of 5. Watch out for them. Watch out for Army. There's a couple of good teams in that group of 5.
that is the team right there.
Army.
That some of those teams that are up in that top 10,
Yep.
they better hope that they don't manage to squeak in the top 10, because Army will bludgeon you.
Yes, they will. So this is the one I don't understand, Byron. I know lately they lost to BYU early in the season. They just beat an undefeated team. Let me tell you something, and they beat my boys to death, mine and Byron's boys to death. Them SMU Mustangs are ranked 13th. Byron, honestly, brother,
Dangerous team.
they should be up there. I think they should be in the top 12 somewhere. Me personally, I mean, you got a couple of one-loss teams up there. Why isn't SMU up there? I don't get that. I don't know why they're not in the 12 right now. Texas A&M, I understand being at 14th because they got killed by South Carolina. LSU's moving up the rank. They're 15th. Ole Miss is 16th.
That was a bizarre game.
It was,
That
man.
just a bizarre game.
It was, man. We talked about that, didn't we?
It was a weird game. It was a weird football
It was.
game.
You talking the Texas A&M South Carolina game?
South Carolina game.
Yeah,
It was
that
just
was
weird.
Yeah, it was. LSU plays Alabama this week, so that's going to be 11 versus 15. That ought to be pretty good. That'll be at LSU. Ole Miss bludgeoned Arkansas. I can't figure them out to save my life. They're world beaters one week, B, and then they lose to somebody they shouldn't lose to. Now, I'm not saying Kentucky is a bad football team,
no.
but I just didn't feel like they should lose to Kentucky, but they did.
That's a bad matchup.
It
for,
was.
for them because
Yeah.
of the way Kentucky plays football. It wouldn't surprise me if they had Vanderbilt on their schedule that Vanderbilt didn't beat them too because of the way Vanderbilt plays football.
So, this next team I want to talk about just a minute. Iowa State. That was a weird game too. Texas Tech won on the last second. It was rainy up there. They both played in it. They won it there in the last seconds of the football game.
Man, that play on that last
last
play
play
was so well designed.
designed.
I don't know that there was a team in the nation that would have stopped that play.
Not that play. But let me tell you, do you remember a kid named John Tez Williams that used to play for us?
Yeah.
He is the free safety for Iowa State, and he's on the Thorpe Award list, which means for the best defensive back in the country. He has an interception, until this past game, he had an interception in 4 straight games, right here from Bradford County. Wow. John Tez Williams.
Yep.
How about that?
Yep.
Our Dante Balfour's doing some good things at UNC Charlotte, and so is Manny Covey at Cincinnati.
Covey was playing last week.
Well, he
wasn't
was, yeah.
Yeah.
John Tez had a pretty good game. Didn't really get in. It's just like Byron says, it's just one of those weird games.
There was some strange things that
Yeah.
happened. I mean, that Duke Miami game,
That was weird.
it was like Duke was playing them the way you should play a higher ranked football team, and then all of a sudden they just lost everything.
They lost everything.
And I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Is Miami that real? Is my question, because if
All right,
Miami is that real, they're going to beat any team in the nation.
All right, so I think they're complete except the defensive backfield. I think they're susceptible to the pass, but hey, you got to be able to throw the pass to get it to somebody. And Miami's front seven is about as good as anybody in the country. I want to ask you something.
To score too.
I want to ask you something. A scenario question. If we had Cam Ward, what would our record be?
2 more wins, maybe 3 more wins. There is something. Not
You think
right
we would be
with Florida
6-2, 5-3,
something like that.
even with Ward? You
Even-
think Ward's good for 3 wins, 3 more wins?
Even with Ward, I think that we still have issues.
Those
There
are-
is a chemistry issue with Florida State. They don't play like
I
a
told
team.
Dave that.
You look at the team and they're loaded with athletes.
That's going to play on Sunday afternoons. I'm telling you, you'll see a bunch of
See a
them.
bunch of them playing on Sunday afternoons. But it's almost like they don't play as a unit. It's really, really strange.
That's strange.
You have great passes going to wide receivers that are going to play, and they drop the passes. You watch an offensive line that should be all world. They can't block anybody. I mean, they can't block anybody. This last game, it was terrible.
They got more holes than Swiss cheese does.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
That's not the team that I'm used to seeing.
Not out of
No,
Florida State.
not out of Florida State. You're not.
No.
It's just
It's a
very
weird thing.
strange year because there's no way this team should be this bad.
Yep.
And part of me wants to chalk it up to coaching, but the other part of me watches this and I'm going, that's not just coaching. That's will. That's want to. That's like they.
Byron, to me, I think you're fixing to say the word. To me, they look like they quit. In a way, I know they go out there and play the game, but to me, it looks like at certain points of the game, at certain times of the game, it looks like they just quit.
The defense most certainly did that in the last game. They
Yeah,
played
sure.
really good football
They did.
for a half, and then they just quit.
That sounds like the Gators playing the Dogs, you know.
Well, I think that was a little bit different.
I
for the
think that
Gators
was a
than
little
Dogs.
bit different too, Dave.
Too
I
many
think-
really great players on Georgia's team.
That's
Yeah.
what.
And it caught up. Plus, you lose
the guy the guy was quarterback.
You lose your starting quarterback, and then you lose 3 of your starting DBs.
Yeah.
That's a tall order for the number 2 team in the nation.
They was number 2.
They played their hearts out.
They played, and only lost by 2 touchdowns. And honestly, those 2 touchdowns came late.
Yes, they did.
They came late in the fourth quarter.
The Gator team, they've been so strong in the past, and
you're seeing
where they at now?
Well, and that's the lull, and I think that's what Byron has been saying about this whole thing. You know, the transfer portal can help you and it can hurt you. It depends how you use it. I think for Florida State, as Byron was saying, I think for Florida State, there's so much talent there that there's no continuity, there's no gel, and I don't know why. It's just no gel. I mean, I think everybody's out for themselves and everybody's out for the NIL money.
That and the fact that if you plug in multiple players like that, you need those multiple players there for 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Because if you look at what happened the year before the 13-0 season, we had a good year. The year before that's when a lot of those players come in.
Yep.
And we didn't win a whole lot of games that year.
No.
Then it got better. And then it got to the point where if we hadn't had injuries at key positions, we should have been playing for a national title.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way. That's all over with. Now, this year, we've got a bunch of players that we brought in that are seniors, and we've tried to plug them in and make it work. Talent can only make up for so much.
That's it.
Your personal talent can only make up for so much. If you can't play as a team because, I don't know, you haven't played in the same offense, which a lot of these players haven't, or the same defensive scheme, and you're playing with different people that you don't have a chemistry with, I really think that's what it is. I think it's a chemistry thing.
Yeah, I do too. I'm with you.
These players are better than that.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like Byron said, you're going to see some of these players on Sunday afternoon. I don't care if they go 1-10 or 1-11 or whatever. There's Sunday football players on that team that you'll see get drafted, and you'll go, man, they played on that sorry Seminoles team that was the worst in history. You know, but they before Bobby Bowden got there, they had some horrendous seasons.
Oh yeah,
yeah. There's no doubt. So we're just going to chalk this up, as Byron said, as just a bad. Sometimes, man, just get a bad season, man. And I hate it because they had such high expectations, and I guess that's why I hate it.
I will tell you this: there is a running back on Florida State's team that will play at the next level and will be a great NFL running back, and that's Lawrence Toafili.
Really? Yes, he will.
He is a complete package. He has breakaway speed. He runs with strength and power, and he is a threat in the passing game, a real threat.
Yep.
He is a great running back. But a great running back can't block defensively.
No, you can't block and run the ball at the same time.
No.
And if you got an offensive line that has more holes than Swiss cheese in it, I mean,
I don't get it though, David.
We had 49. Byron, we had 49 total rushing yards last week. When was I can't even fathom when the last time just one. We've always had more than 60, 70, 80 yards rushing. 49 yards?
Most time it was 100 plus.
Yeah.
It's bizarre to watch is what it is.
Mitchell said there's no chemistry, like you said. Yeah, there's none. I don't get it.
So if you guys, I know Dave did, watch the World Series or some of it.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
Did you watch that last game?
No.
It was.
That's the only one I saw, man, and I tell you, it was amazing to watch it.
Yeah, and I'm going to get to that here in just a second. Let me read the rest of this. Dodgers did 4-1. So here we go. Iowa State, we talked about. Pittsburgh got shellacked. They needed to drop. Kansas State is still in there. Colorado, which plays that Texas Tech team that beat Iowa State this week. Washington State is 21. Louisville's 22, and they should be. Clemson's 23, Missouri's 24, and the team that Byron was just talking about, to me, should be a little higher than that, and that's Army.
They're undefeated.
They're undefeated. I mean, I'm telling you, Notre Dame's going to. They play Notre Dame after Florida State plays Notre Dame. I'm telling you, I thought Navy was going to give them a game, but I'm going to tell you right now, Army is going to give them a good football game. I don't think they beat them like they beat Navy. I can tell you that right now. There's no
They'll
way.
beat Notre Dame by 14 points.
Who, Army? They can? Yeah.
That team is going to bludgeon Notre Dame. They are going to bludgeon them.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Navy was going to do it too. I really did, but Navy runs a little different scheme than Army does. I'm sort of the same, but a little different.
That's Bradford County on the college level is what that
Yep.
team is.
Yep.
That's how they play. That's
So
how they play all the time, but they just got a lot of talent on their team.
So while I'm looking this up, Dave was talking about the World Series. Great World Series, by the way. Dodgers and the Yankees. That's what you want to see. You want to see the two big boys go at it. And honestly, it was pitching over hitting. And but even though the Dodgers hit too, the Dodgers basically shut them down, Byron. Their pitching was outstanding. They allowed the one game with the Yankees scored 11 runs, the one that they won, and everything else was the Dodgers out, and they just shut them down. But Freddie Freeman was on fire. He was the MVP of the World Series, by the way.
Pitcher?
No, the first baseman that hit those 4 consecutive home runs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the home runs in 4 games. So that's dating back from the last time he went to this. But, I mean, he was on fire, dude. If he wasn't hitting home runs, he was hitting doubles. He was hitting in the gap. What I heard the one announcer say, "Oh, yep, there goes Freddie Freeman. He went shopping the gap again." Yeah, well, yeah, he sure did. He shopped in the gap. All right, there ain't nothing you can do there, buddy. Go get it from the wall.
That's the only thing you can do.
Yep.
You know, you
So, I want to talk real quick about tornado football. Byron, I don't know how many questions you've been getting about tornado football. I know we were supposed to play last week. Byron will tell you, as I told you, and as we put out, we were supposed to play a team out of Jacksonville. They canceled the game, or I don't know how.
They forfeited the game.
Yeah, well, I looked up our record, and guess what? It's not reflecting that 9th win. So I would be raising heck with somebody about that, because to me, if you don't play, you forfeit the game. I understand that this was not a very good football team. They won 1 game. They scored like 24 points all season. Bradford was going to go over there and walk the dog. I get it. I understand it. But you're on the schedule. You should be playing us.
Yeah.
So now what that has done is that has put Bradford out of a football game. So they didn't have a football game last week. This week is the makeup week, as Austin was talking about the 2 storms that came through here. This week now is the makeup week for all those teams that need games to get into the playoffs, or there's district implications. So now those games are being played right now. So we don't have a game this Friday night. So the reveal show comes out on Sunday, or either Saturday or Sunday. I got a FHSA. Byron has not put that out yet. So,
What a surprise.
yeah, what a surprise. So they probably won't put that in a week, but I want to watch that reveal show where Bradford sits. But ladies and gentlemen, be assured, Bradford's in the playoffs. There's no way they cannot leave them out of the playoffs. Bradford's in the playoffs.
They have 1 loss.
1 loss. 4 losses in the last, what, Byron? 3 years.
years.
3 years. Let me
2
get.
losses during the regular season in the last 3 years.
So let me get to here.
I'm thinking they're probably going to be ranked 4 or 5. Would be my
So
guess, David.
let me give you what I got. There won't be no rankings coming out this week because they got the reveal show. So the last one was last week, and we're in Class 2A. We're in Region 2. The top 8 is Bradford's 1, Coco's 2, Newberry's 3, Calvary Christian's 4, Palaca's 5, Berkeley Prep 6, Astronaut 7, The Villages is 8th. Now, that could swap around depending on what happens this week. Lake Placid or Tenoric could get in that 8th spot. So if everything stays even keel, Bradford will host
Everything.
up until the state semifinal.
This is a state semifinal.
And I'm going to tell you why. And then Byron already knows why. But they will host everything. So you know that district win that Newberry got? If Newberry does not jump Bradford, Newberry's got to come here.
They got to come here.
They got to come here, whether they're district champions or not, because that does play. If you're a top seed, that plays. So right now, Bradford's sitting 1 in that region. So everything has to come through Bradford. And for sure, as Byron said, the first 2 playoff games are going to be here. Now, we'll see what happens after that.
The state semifinal.
So-
Somebody's ranked higher than we are. overall, then we'll go there.
So here we go, as Byron just said.
So
That loss did no. I'm glad you said that. That loss did hurt Bradford in a way, because you remember we was number 1 in everything, pretty much except overall in the state. So Bradford is still 4th overall in Class 2A. Remember we were 1. We took that loss. Now we're 4. What hurt us was, and Byron will tell you the same thing. After that Newberry game, we played nobody. That strength of schedule hurts you there toward the end. Now, at the beginning of the season, they've got to take that in consideration. We played three Class A teams, beat all them. We beat the number 1 team in Class 6A at the time in Mandarin. Yep. Then we had our district play. We cannot help who our district opponents are. Yeah, we run into a buzzsaw at Newberry. Me and Byron talked about that game multiple times. I don't have to get in here. I don't want to get into it. Look, we lost that football game. I think we play again, we will not lose that football game. I can assure you that. But anyway, so we lost at an inopportune time, and we didn't get a district championship. Then we had some teams with a combined record, those last 3 teams, even if we'd have played last Friday night, with 2 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? That's your schedule. You beat
a 5A team in Tallahassee, but they were not a good football team.
They were not a good football team. No, that's the thing that's good.
Bradford could have beat them by 60 points.
Oh, yeah, we could have easily ran up the score. And we left, you were on vacation, but you were watching it. Mitchell will tell you, we left 12 points out there in Santa Fe. That could have easily been 56-0.
Yeah.
But we didn't make an extra point all night. Don't ask me what happened there.
Right.
So, and then you have a team that forfeited, to me, as Byron said. That's what I call it. Now, we should get a win for that. I don't know how much they're going to push that. But right now, the record's showing 8-1, when it should really be 9-1. And then now
if they forfeited the game, that's a win for us. It should be 2-0, right? Isn't that the rules, David? You win by a safety?
Yeah, 2-0. Yep, should be a 2-0. Should be a shutout. You don't show, it's a 2-0. They got to give you something. So the lowest besides a extra point is the safety. So they give you a 2-0 victory, and the Bradford Tornadoes should be 9-1. Should show 3 or 4 shutouts, how many ever shutouts they got, and that all should come into play. Now, me and Cliff was talking before we got here. So Bradford's still 4 behind Gadsden, which has got a good football team. If we had to face him, we need to bring our A+ game. Cardinal Mooney, and guess who's sitting 3rd?
Cocoa.
Pensacola Catholic.
Oh, Coco's not ranked.
No, they're behind us in our region. They're not ranked in this top 4. They're ranked, but not in this top 4. So let's say everything stays hunky-dory.
I don't want to deal with Pensacola Catholic.
Byron's bring it.
No, not after last year, not after that.
So, Byron, let me throw you a scenario.
Nope.
And let me throw Tornado Nation a scenario.
Nope.
Okay, let's say everything stays even keel, David. Right here. Listen. Let's say we travel to play Gadsden County, because we would have to travel, and we beat the number 1 team in the state. Let's just say, for purposes, that Pensacola Catholic beats Cardinal Mooney. Guess what's ironic? Guess where we're going to have to go? To Pensacola. And they get a little, they think they would get a little revenge on us over at Pensacola. God, can you imagine that? Oh, Byron, can you imagine that? And that's, you know what's so funny, Byron? That scenario could happen. You do know that, right?
I want to tell everybody that's watching this now. If that happens, you need to go and watch that football game. That football game against Pensacola Catholic was probably the best high school football game I have ever seen in my life.
I'll agree. Wow. That's 2 of us.
It was unbelievable. And those teams were so evenly matched that it took an extremely gutsy call from the Bradford coaches
and the players
to win that football game.
Yeah.
We won that football game by how many points, David?
1.
It was in what?
Yeah, overtime.
It was an overtime. It was an unbelievable football game that kept you on the edge of your seat the whole entire time. I think I ate a half pack of Tums after that game.
Did I have a heart attack or possibly could have? I don't know what I mean, I thought that was, oh my God, that was a great football game. Probably, like you said, one of the best football games I've ever seen.
It's the best high school football game I've ever seen.
Yeah, me too. All right, Mitchell said, Byron, I'll have you back if you want to go back on vacation. He said lots of laughs. You know what Lisa Moody Tomlinson said?
What'd she say?
Mitchell, I'm ready to go back to the mountains.
Oh, Lord.
And Mitchell Gunner says Trump 178, Harris 113. Is that what you got?
Yeah.
178,
According to
113.
Fox News,
We got
the AP
Texas,
is
too.
doing, the AP shows 99 to 120.
Okay, so 99, 120.
Yeah,
Okay.
the AP is still lagging behind because they're still counting.
Okay.
certain states.
All right.
They called Fox called Texas.
Texas.
That's why.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why that number jumped. And North Dakota, they called South Dakota, Wyoming, and Nebraska.
Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas.
Or Kansas?
Yep. No, Kansas.
Oh, Kansas itself.
Kansas.
Kansas, Carry On My Wayward Son? Mm-hmm. All right. And Colorado, she gets.
Well,
Yeah, I knew that. All right, so don't fret. There will be tornado playoff football. Me and Byron will be calling it just as soon as. And by the way,
they're in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Don't
no
fret. Yeah,
doubt
no,
that
no,
They
no.
are playing in the playoffs.
Playoffs.
It's just where are they going to be ranked?
yeah, and where they're going to play, and if this stays the same, Byron, they're going to play here, right? If they don't move from that spot right there, we're playing here.
Now, the trump card in this whole entire thing. and
Nice.
I hate to say this,
Nice.
and yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's very good. I like that. No pun intended?
No pun intended.
Okay.
The trump card in this whole entire thing is Cocoa. Because if Cocoa beats one of these top 4 ranked teams, guess what's going to happen? Or top 3, the other 3 top 4, because they won't be in this. I can guarantee you, they will not be on the same side as we are.
Well, here's the problem, B. They are. So before we go to that state semifinal, we're going to play somebody in this bracket.
Of course we are, but they're not.
You see what I'm saying? So
Let Cocoa and Newberry handle their business.
absolutely. 2-3. We'll play Calvary Christian.
I don't.
We can play these guys in a regional final, and they can come here.
Any of those teams, that's fine.
Or they can get upset somewhere down here. I honestly, look, there ain't nothing against Palatka. I'd have nothing. We waxed Palatka. Palatka is not going to beat one of those teams. I'm sorry.
Plaque is not going to beat Newberry or Cocoa.
Oh, Cocoa, no.
I don't know much about Calvary Christian. So
They're okay. I mean, but see, here's my fret, and I'm gonna let this go, and then we'll start closing the show down. Byron, I'm going to be highly upset.
if they put Cocoa against us in the first game?
No. If they
Newberry?
if they put Cocoa on top of this region right here and we drop to 2. That could easily happen, and you know it just because of who they are. If the FHSA does that, I am going to raise holy hell about that, because they are saying that they're penalizing Bradford because of their end of the season schedule and that dadgum game that we didn't play. And Byron, I'm telling you, I'm going to be awfully mad if Cocoa jumps Bradford on that Sunday show.
Wow. They have more losses.
They have 3 losses. Yes,
They have 3 losses compared to a 1 loss.
So does
team.
Newberry. Newberry's got 2 losses. We've got 1.
You can't penalize us for that,
No.
for that schedule. And I don't care if one of your losses came to IMG. Quit being stupid and stay with IMG. And I will say that to anybody.
Yeah, no, I'm with
Will
you.
not surprise me if that happens, because guess where the FSHAA is headquartered at?
Yep,
The People's Republic of Alachua County.
yep. Right there in the heart of Gainesville.
This is the same group that thinks it's good to pay kids to play football through NIL money.
I didn't want to jinx that, but me and Cliff was talking about that.
Yeah.
That could possibly happen, and I am going to be very upset if that happens. What that does is yes, we will host, but we're not going to host as many games, and plus that puts us in a matchup with Newberry somewhere down the line, and I don't mind playing them again. I really don't. But why do you penalize a team that you've had ranked number 1, lost 4 games in the last 3 years, and then you're going to jump a 3-loss team in front of the 1-loss team? I just don't get it. And you've been in that number 1 spot, even with the loss this whole time, and now in the final rankings. I don't think it's going to happen. I hope it doesn't, but I'm going to be awful mad, Byron. Me and you're going to talk about that quite extensively if that does happen.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, David, because the people. Never mind. I'll stop.
No, you said it. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. That's exactly right. Anyway, I hope that doesn't happen. So, look, Trump's ahead in North Carolina, according to Mitchell.
Yes.
Yeah, we got that same thing.
Yeah, North Carolina, he would give me just a second. North Carolina, Trump was ahead by 4.8 points with 51.89%, and there's 39.81% in so far, according to Fox.
Okay, so
66% is in Georgia, and Trump's got a 5.8 lead. Virginia, Trump's got a 1.5 lead with almost 50% in. These are good numbers for him. Ohio, he's up by 7. And if I remember correctly, he did not win Ohio this last time.
no, he did not. I don't think.
I'd have to go back and look at that one because I can't remember some of the Midwest northern states and what happened in them.
Well, it's 9 minutes after the hour right here, Eastern time. Got a lot of results coming in. I hope you enjoyed the show. David, I'm going to be honest with you, Byron, Austin, I'm glad that we were back tonight.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody for pitching in and helping us out with the results. Byron, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate that. I know we love to do this. We love to do tornado football and the other things that we do.
Yeah.
But I was just glad after 3 weeks hiatus, man. I was itching at the bit. And I was just hoping that everything was better. And that, like Byron said, you know what's so funny?
David and I talked about this, and I said, we need to do a show election night.
Yeah, we do. And whether, even if I'd have had that a little bit, I would have just had Byron. We needed to do a show.
We needed to do a show.
We needed to do a show tonight. We needed to show face. We need to show people what we're all about.
Absolutely.
and what we're concerned about, not only for us but for this great nation and this great country and the people that tune in here. We just wanted to put our 2 cents in as we always do, and we just hope you enjoy the show. I know we talked a little bit about everything. Look, we talked about election tonight. We talked about what this administration's done, that administration's done tonight. We gave results. We even threw a sprinkle of sports in there.
Yeah.
And again, because how many people's asked you about Bradford?
Yep.
A couple, right?
I've had
Yeah.
multiple people talk to.
Yeah.
Here's
So.
what I want to throw in there.
Yeah, give us the last thing.
Here's
there,
the
Ron.
last thing. And this
Yeah.
has nothing to do with politics, and it has nothing to do with sports. If you get a chance at some point in your life, you need to go somewhere in the Smoky Mountains
Yes.
during the end of October and see the leaves, because it is absolutely incredible, especially if you live in Florida, because you do not see leaves change like this. It is absolutely beautiful. I've seen it before, and it was absolutely beautiful again. Please take the time with your family to go spend and do that, because it is an experience that you won't ever forget if you live in Florida. I promise you.
Yeah, you could tune in to your webpage or
Yeah.
Facebook page.
And watch the videos that Lisa was actually videoing while I was driving. It was beautiful. I mean, it really, really was, and it was everything that I remembered it from when I was younger, when my parents and I went and did that.
All right, Austin, real quick, the weather. Give us just a real quick, brief synopsis, brother.
Tomorrow, 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, highs in the mid-80s. We'll fall to the lower 80s over the Thursday and Friday, with a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms due to now a hurricane going towards Cuba.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I don't expect to get higher than a Cat 2, low end Cat 2, maybe still stay in a Cat 1. Cuba will put some damage on the hurricane. It'll be a tropical storm, and we'll see if it falls apart by the time it gets to the U.S.
Okay. Thank you, Austin, for all the updates you've given us tonight. Thank you for the weather. Dave, thank you for producing and directing the shows you always do. Thank you for the graphics and everything that you do and what you do for us. We really appreciate it. Byron, again, thank you for tuning in as my partner as always. Mitchell, thank you for what you do on that motorsports page. And Byron, I'm going to let you close out the show. I'm going to leave it up to you tonight. You close us out, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am so glad to be back tonight. I love doing this. I want to say, God bless America. Mm-hmm. God bless the way we elect our officials. There are places in this world that do not get to do that. If you didn't, please take your civic duty as a responsibility. It really is a duty. Please vote, because if you don't vote, you don't have a say in it. You may have a right to free speech, and you may think you have a right to complain, but if you didn't vote, you weren't much of a say in it. You left your power at home. So please vote in these elections. I mean, you can't vote now in these elections.
No.
Please don't vote now in these elections. I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to deal with those shenanigans.
I don't want to deal with that again. That's going to cause people to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, look, if you didn't vote, please go get registered and vote in the elections, not just the federal elections, but your local elections and your state elections.
Yeah.
You strip your own power from yourself when you don't do that.
Amen.
Now, that being said, if it doesn't go your way, it doesn't go your way. That's how this works. That's how the democratic process in a republic works. So, that being said, brothers, I love all of y'all. I've enjoyed it once again tonight, as always. And go Trump.
Yep.
And what do I always say, David?
Go
Big Red.
God bless you guys. Good night. See you later.